Hi everyone, Steve Janz here. Today I'm going to help you out again with another supportive video for your Simply Accounting case. Today we're going to work on your last and final journal entry for the case. How exciting is that? And to do that, I'm going to help you with not only the Simply Accounting course, but Intermediate Financial Accounting too. In Intermediate Financial Accounting 2, in your second chapter, second lesson, you have to do bonds. And you have to do bonds buyback within the middle of a period and a percentage buyback amount. Well, how do you solve that? That's a really challenging calculation and two really challenging journal entries. Today, I'm going to help you do that. I'm going to help you create a template, two templates, this one and this one, that will allow you to have the right journal entries and get full marks in Simply Accounting and in Intermediate Financial Accounting too. Let's begin. So we've created already a schedule. In the first video that we worked on, we created a schedule and that was part of your learning and your growth. What's going to happen is that in year 2, in July, right in the middle of July, we're going to have a buyback. So let's take that schedule you created. So go ahead and find it or recreate it. Have that in front of you. Have that in front of you in Excel, print it off, and let's work with that. Now, you've got that in front of you. Let's figure out how to do a buyback and the journal entries. First off, you're going to buy 40% of the bond back. And you're going to buy it back in the middle of a period. Now, the period's a month. You're going to buy it right back in the middle. So our period portion is 50%. Now, notice that the percentage buyback 40% can be used down here as well. So I'm just trying to help create a flow for you. Now, what you got to do is you got to learn this template. This is the first one right here. This is the second one right here. Now, this question's a little simpler than what you'd see in Intermediate Financial Accounting 2, but it's close. It'll get you really close. Now, we've got to take a look at our schedule that we created. And our schedule that we created, as I said, you need to have that for this problem to make sense. Well, here's our schedule. And you can see I've got it in gray, highlighted, the July period in year 2. And what I do is once I have that information, I'm then going to pull that information from there so that I can then complete my templates. So I have that information in front of me. I'm going to pull that information and start putting it into my templates. So you've got that there. It's the July. It's in year 2. And what does it tell us? It tells us that the interest for July will be $3,097.76. That would be the interest expense if nothing was different for that month. But we know something's different. We know that there's a buyback of 40% of the bonds in the middle of the month. The cash payment would be $10,533.53. We know that the bonds payable reduction then would be the difference between these two, $7,435.77. So what do we do now? What we do is we take these values, and the first step is multiply them by 50%, half the period. So when we do that, we will get 1548.88. And remember, stop the video and work with me. Do these calculations and then turn the video on so that you can then check to see if your work is done properly. And again, do these videos. Do these videos, invest the time into them. It'll make the whole calculations for your Simply Accounting case so much better. So we've done the 50% calculations. The next step, we got to multiply it by the 40%. 40% times these values. 619.55, 2106.71, and 1487.15. Once we have that information, we can then do our journal entries and just move that information right over here. Now, how can I do that? How do I know that? Well, the terms, and this is the last bit of data I need to give you, is that to buy back these bonds, here's what we basically paid. $124,500. $124,500 plus the interest. Well, that's this here. So then I would just take that $619.55, the cash payment of $2106.71. And then I would have the difference here as the reduction in my bonds payable. That's how I do the first journal entry. Perfect. You've done a really tough entry and gotten 100% on it. Fantastic. Now, when we buy back bonds, a lot of times we deal with gains and losses. So we have to calculate that amount. So what was the bond value that we basically purchased back? We have $309,776.28. Now, where do I get that information again? From my schedule, right there. I find July, year 2. It's there. It's the value right at the beginning, the opening balance. I then am going to take 40% as my percentage buyback, and that will give me a total then of 123,910.51. Now, what do? I move that over here because that is the value of the bonds that I just redeemed. Now, there's a difference here. How do we determine the difference? Subtract the two. Well, that difference then is 589. Well, if it's 589.49 and it's on the debit side, we know that that's a loss. If this value here was bigger than this value, then that difference would result in a gain. Remember, debits have to equal credits. So on the left-hand side, that's a loss. If it was on the right-hand side, that would be a gain. Everyone, I hope to see a lot of 100% entries in the Simply Accounting case and in a very tough section. Have a good day.